wanted to be an artist. I mean, and somebody come along and say, do you want to be a doctor or do you want to be a fireman or a police officer? I'd say, no, I want to be an artist. And I knew right from then that that was going to be the case for me.
And you were telling me last night at dinner that, like, your sister can be like nuclear physicist. She can take anything. And,
she's pretty smart. Yeah.
Any molecule.
She's pretty smart.
You know, and divide it. And even though you went to school and you know substantial, you know, zoology, biology, and all that, you just always lived your life like, I'm going to be an artist.
Well, bottom line, and I looked at it, you know, you've got one chance in life, and that's the way that I saw it. And this is not a dress rehearsal by any means. And I think the one word that controls your whole existence is the word fear.
Yeah.
And at an early age as a little boy, and my mum and dad were great help with this. It's just a huge support for me over the years. My whole family is just an amazing group of people. And they just said, pal, if this is what you want to do, pursue your love in life. And that was what I was passionate about.
Well, who influenced your style? Because in a few minutes we're going to show them, I believe, 7 original paintings, and then a little later a few more. Who influenced your style? Because you're painting, you're 5, you're painting a Briar Rabbit, and then you evolve. When you started studying art with a passion, and you had it then, but I mean, really got into it, who influenced your style?
I'd say there was a couple of artists. Obviously, as a child, I mean, I would look at things that I basically could understand, which was anatomically correct to me then. A gentleman called Raymond from England, who is probably one of the great master artists of the world, contemporary master artists. And a lot of my study was tracking these people down. You know, it's one thing going to a college and being taught by a teacher, but how good is the teacher? So you have to say to yourself, well, how good do I want to be in the process of learning? I sought out the best people I possibly could to teach me the things that I wanted to know about art, and I travelled the world tracking them down.
And like who? Give me some examples.
Well, Ray Ching for a start. Bob Bateman, I went to his lectures in the United States, you know, when I was over here. A number of other contemporary artists that I literally knocked on their doors and just said, look, I want to talk to you. And they'd go, well, what do you want? They go, you know, and I would show them my work. So they obviously knew that I was serious about what I was doing. And I did go to college in Sydney. But once again, I really found that a lot of the work that I was doing, I was ending up teaching the teachers instead of the other way around. But to answer your question in any sense, I think that probably Dali. Salvador Dali. I mean, I love Picasso's work. I spent some time in Arles in the south of France. So I was a big fan of Vincent van Gogh, and if you look at the beard and the head, you know, I could pretty well pass for him on a Friday night. So it was really going to a lot of the museums, a lot of places where the masters had actually been, and really absorbing the whole situation of who they were as people.
Well, now, if you had to define your style, how would you define?
I would class myself as a surrealist artist. I mean, I have been known as a super realist artist. And I've actually had paintings in art shows where people have come up to purchase work in combined shows and said, you've got photographs here. And they'd go, well, no, there's no photographs in the show, they're actual paintings.
Yeah, because it's so real.
It was absolute super realism.
Was that hard to learn? I know, because when you start talking about painting realism style, believe me, it's one of my favorite styles. You can't fool somebody. In other words, in abstract, if it's red blue lines, you can go genius, and you go, well, actually, I colorblind, I got it wrong. No one knows. But with realism, where every stroke, was that hard to learn?
Yeah, it was, and you've obviously got to start early, which is what I did. I think in the sense of art, I mean, it's just regardless of whether you're an impressionist or a surrealist or Dadaism or Fauvism, you must have a ground-based foundation. If you build a house without foundations, it falls down. The bottom line is that you have to learn those skills.
The fundamentals.
Color
theory.
The whole thing. Composition.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, and I have a lot of art students come to me, ask me about my career and marketing and, you know, how do we get to where you've got to. And I say to them, discipline is the most important thing, but drawing, you have to start from the base idea. You can't expect to walk in and be a brilliant abstract artist without knowing the theory of being a realist artist. If you look at Dali or Picasso or Chagall,
paint anything.
They could paint anything when they started their career. And as they went through that process, and this is what this is, it's an evolution. As they went through that process, all of a sudden you start to see Cubism coming out. You start to see Surrealism coming out. You must know the basics.
Well, now, and just so we don't tease folks too long, Tell me a story about this painting that we're going to go to here in a second. Yeah, there we go. It's on the easel. This has a very, very interesting story. This piece right here, Celtic Dawn. What's it about?
Well, a lot of the work, I'll just duck in front of the camera.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of the paintings I do have got history, and they've got mythology, they've got legend behind them. And I sit down, I've got quite a large library in Australia, and I love to read, and I read every single night once I finish in the studio, before I go to bed. This is actually, and my family, obviously being of Scottish descendancy, we did own a castle in Scotland up till 1954. This whole idea is about the Celtic people. Now, they were actually born out of an oyster shell, so the legend went. So you've got this baby coming out of the oyster shell.
So that's the beginning of the Celtic
That's the beginning
school.
of the Celtic race of people, obviously with the Christian association in there as well. These are the thistles of Scotland. So a lot of this is obviously when you look at the legends of, and you've got the tartan in there as well.
Yeah.
You've got the eagle in there as well, and the wolf. And then obviously in the old days in England there were wolves there.
Yeah.
These days, there used to be lions in England as well at one stage. And then this symbol here representing the raven, which was part of that whole association of the Celtic people. So I combine these, I read the books, I travel to the places, I go to the castles, and I speak to the people, and that's how I actually come up with these ideas.
Oh no, fantastic! I'm a big fan of that. I really like that that painting. Well, now, you were telling me that a lot of folks ask you to judge art contests, and you tell them.
I don't do it for the simple fact that, and it's like looking at art. You can look at Rembrandt and then look at Picasso and then try and tell me that you're going to compare them.
Yeah.
You simply can't do it.
You can't.
They are both masters in what they've done. But I don't judge art shows because of the simple fact I don't think it's my position, even as an artist, to say to somebody that their work is not good enough. I mean, people do this because they're passionate about it. I do it, obviously, as a living professionally for quite a while. But I'm not going to say to a 9-year-old child or a 15-year-old girl, you know what, you're lost because it's just, I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. So I'm not, I just don't judge the situation like that.
And a lot of folks don't know this about you, but when you attack, I mean, when you paint, it's 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop. Some of these paintings take you months, 6 months. It's just small brush strokes, dedication. This was one of your favorite ones from you, and everybody in the studio loves it. The one on the Casino Royale.
Oh, Casino Royale, yeah.
Yeah, this is...
I mean, once again, I mean, I think inherently...
Here, you can stand on this side.
Okay, you can see the personality of the artist in the work always. I mean,
is this a real casino that you went to that inspired this, or just come to you?
I have been to Vegas a number of times with the guys I know in Northern California. Hi guys. But a lot of my work, when you look at it and when we review it this evening, it's about colour.
Okay.
Carl Jung said that colour was the food for the unconscious imagination.
He's a great psychologist.
Absolutely, and literally in any sense, and that's, I mean, our brain is a muscle.
Yeah.
We don't use it, guess what, it atrophies.
Yeah.
And part of that association is if you've got colour in your life, and you've got stimulation in your life, generally you're going to have joy. You know, there's another great saying that you are contagious. So you're either going to be contagious, happy and colourful, or you're going to be contagious, miserable, and pessimistic. So.
And you textured the whole outside of this. This is to raise it off and dreamlike state. I mean, it's amazing. And this is gold.
It's all gold leaf all the way through, 24. As I said, I mean, I will sit down and actually, I mean, I'll study these things.
It's going to be amazing.
I mean, I just gather the information as much as I can. Sometimes in the studio or even in my bedroom, I have books all over the floor. And I'll literally study the whole situation. And then I have a number of models in Australia that will come in, just some great ladies I know down there, and they're always available to do some work with me. And literally I will make these up over a large period of time. And it could take me 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 days just to think of the idea and then to sit down and just simply do the sketch.
And you actually, we're so grateful, you called galleries that you had work out and said, hey, I'm selling them in America, I'm bringing them on TV. And but that was one of your favorites of the show.